everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and I am super excited to be here today. I just started on the design team for Dyes R Us, and this is my first project that I have with Dyes R Us. And so, like I said, I am super excited to get started and kind of walk you through how I created this card. Now, I'm going to be using the Sizzix die. There's 3 dies in this set. It's Tim Holtz Alterations. They're thinlits, and they're 3-corner dies. The number is 661185. There's no name on it to give you, but they're 3-corner dies, and the one that I'm using is actually the largest of the 3. And what's kind of cool about this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the cutout side on the outside of the card, and I'm going to have the pieces that are left over on the inside of the card. So after I cut it, I popped the piece onto a piece of press and seal just to kind of keep everything together. I don't know if you've ever used press and seal, but it's kind of cool. It's not super sticky where it's going to ruin anything, but it will hold everything in place for a little while you're working on it. And some of the pieces that didn't come out of the die, I am going to just pop back into place here. Now, the other thing I might suggest is that you flip this over to start with, but ultimately it really doesn't matter. I end up putting another piece of press and seal when I'm done and flipping it over so that I can put the correct side down onto my card. But like I said, that's really kind of just a matter of preference. It doesn't really matter how you do it or when you do it. For me, it's just I wanted to get everything back into there, into the negative side. So after I get everything back into the negative side, I am going to end up peeling up the card base. Now this card is an A2 size card, so it's 5.5 by 4.25 inches. And I'm going to peel up the card panel. So the card panel will go on the front of the card, and all of the pieces are going to go onto the inside of the card. And like I said, I just think it gives it a really cool look. And this is kind of where I'm flipping it over so that the right side is on there. And you can see how everything pretty much stays in place. I had a couple small ones that ended up coming out, but I really wasn't too worried about them. One of the little pieces I did stick back in, but the other one I didn't even bother to because it's so small and it's not like you're really going to notice on the card. And then I'm just going to lift up the piece off of the, the solid piece off of the press and seal paper. And then I'm going to put glue all around those other pieces and pop it into the inside of the card. So it works out really well, and it's pretty easy to go through and do this. You just kind of, sometimes it's a little fussy, so you just got to kind of take your time and go through it. But I think it really gives it a cool effect on the card, and so I like I said, how it ended up turning out. I do end up making 2, but I don't go through the entire process for 2 of them because I did it the same way. The other thing that you may want to do is, if you don't have press and seal, don't think that you can't do this, because you certainly can. All you have to do is use the panel that's going to go on the front of the card on the inside of the card, and then put all of the pieces in there and make sure that they're glued down. The only thing you want to be careful for if you're doing it that way is that you don't get glue on the panel itself and have it end up sticking to the inside of the card. But other than that, it's pretty simple to do it that way as well. It's just that way you end up having to stick the majority of pieces back, as opposed to this way where I only had a couple that ended up falling out. So I use liquid glue on this just because it gives me a few seconds to be able to move it if I need to move it around, or if I don't like where something is. For this particular one, I was going to use this glue pen that I have. I think it's from Polka Doodles, but it was clogged up and I didn't feel like playing with it anymore. So I end up using my art glitter glue. That's my tried and true, my favorite glue. I like it because it dries really quickly, and especially for something like this, I wanted it to dry very, very quickly. I do like multimedia matte. I do use that quite a bit, but that one takes a little bit longer to dry than the art glitter glue. So it kind of depends on what I'm using or what I'm making when I'm what I'm going to end up using. So I just took some card stocks or card bases from my stash. I have kind of a fuchsia one and then a purple one. And I just think this is a really cool effect with the die cut out from the panel on the front, and then, like I said, the same pattern, but the all of the pieces from it are on the inside. I just think it's really, really cool. And this card is an A2 size card, so it's 5.5 by 4.25 inches, and the panel I left at 5.5 by 4.25 inches. So this does not have a border around it because I just wanted the coloring from the card base to pop out. And you can certainly do this in the opposite direction of, have a white card base and then use colored cardstock to cut out the whatever die you end up using on there. Now, I will say not every die can do this, so you're going to want one that has a cool effect both on the negative and the positive sides of the once you cut them out. So regardless of which way you're going to look at it, it needs to kind of have a cool effect on it. And then that's the panel that's going to go on the front. So you can see it, like I said, everything kind of just stays in place when you flip that over from the press and seal, and then there's the panel that's going to go on the outside. And the stamps that I used for the sentiments on both cards were from Kelly Creates. I actually got these sets at Hobby Lobby when they were on clearance. They're made from American Crafts for 74 cents, and I think I got 4 or 5 of them, and I like them because the lettering is large, and that I like larger letters, especially on the front of a card, large words and stuff like that. And so one was a birthday card I made, and one was kind of congratulations for a wedding or something like that. So I'm going to use the liquid glue on the panel as well, mostly because of if I tried to use a tape runner or something like that, it would be really fiddly through all of that area where the die was cut out. So I just decided that the liquid glue would be the best for this. And then I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute or two and use and figure out exactly what I want to say on this one, because I kind of went back and forth on whether I wanted to make another like wedding type card, and then I decided I thought happy birthday one would be good for this one. And like I said, then to finish both of them off, one I used some like silver dots for the front of it, and then the other one I used my iridescent sequins, which are probably one of my absolute favorite embellishments to put on there. And it picks up, the iridescent sequins picks up the colors that are in the card. So just depending on what your coloring is, it depends on how the sequins are going to look. So if there's more pinks, they'll look pink. If there's more blues, it'll look more bluish. I just think that's super cool. Now you can see that I have a little bit of extra on there, and I'm just going to cut that off real quick. And that's it. So that is one card right there. And then in a few minutes you will see the other one. The other thing that I did here that I think ended up turning out really cool was using my Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen. And I just used it on all of the inside, around the inside of the die pattern that was there. And I think it gives it a really cool effect. I went back and forth on what else I could do to kind of sparkle this up, and I thought about using shimmer spray, but I decided against that, and I decided that just on the colored portions, the glitter pen would be perfect. And I think it gave it a really nice effect, and it was just kind of the right amount of sparkle, not too much, not too little. So that is going to finish this portion up, and make sure you head over to Dies R Us and check out. They have a whole lot of selection. I don't believe that they have this particular die in stock right now, but they do have other dies that I'm going to link into this as well as on the blog post that you'll be able to look at that will give you the same type of effect as this one will. So make sure you check those out. I really do appreciate everyone joining me. And like I said, I am super excited to be creating for Dyes R Us. If you have any questions or you need anything else, just let me know. Pop me a comment in there. And I hope that you like and subscribe to this station or channel. So I hope everyone has a fantastic day. And thanks for joining me. Take care.